Number 23. We still need to explain. He wants to understand now the mechanics. This is a particular mechanics, and he wants to now understand it. When we're missing the vessel of the Malchut, which is the fourth aspect, we're missing the light of Keter. This means, I'm looking at drawing number 7. In the second column, the Masach is already not doing work on the fourth aspect. So what's missing above? It's missing above the light of Keter. That's what's missing above. Why is he missing the light of Keter? If he's not able to make a Masach on the Malchut, so then should be missing the light of Malchut. Why is missing the light of Keter? And when it's missing also the vessel of Tiferet, in the third column, it's missing now the light of Chochmah. Why is it missing the light of Chochmah? You would think it would be missing the light of Tiferet. Missing the vessel of Tiferet, you'd think it would be missing the light of Tiferet. It would seem to be the opposite. If it's missing the vessel of Malchut, which is the fourth aspect, then it would be missing only the light of Malchut. Missing the vessel of Malchut, missing the light of Malchut. And there'd be 4 lights, Keter, Chochmah, Bina, and Tiferet. That you would think the light of Malchut wouldn't be there. And also if it's missing the vessels of the third aspect and the fourth aspect, so then you'd think it would be missing the lights of Tiferet and Malchut. And there would be in the level the 3 lights of Keter, Chochmah, and Bina. Why isn't it like that? Is the question clear? Or are there questions on the question? The answer is, because there's always an opposite relationship between the lights and the vessels. Saying here something new. There's an inverse value between the lights and the vessels. Because the way of the vessels is that the higher vessels first develop in the Partzuf. That in the beginning it becomes developed the vessel of Keter, afterwards the vessel of Chochmah, until the vessel of Malchut comes out last. This we learned already in number 5. It's very simple. We learned this in 5. In the beginning we have Keter. Keter is God's desire to give goodness to creation. From that everything begins. Every small move in the world begins from Keter, the desire to give goodness to creation. That's it. Now the Keter wants to give goodness to creation, so it creates the creation with the light. This is called Chochmah. So it comes out that Chochmah is number 2 and Keter number 1. Where is there more desire to receive? In Chochmah. In Keter, the desire to receive is only in potential. God wants to give goodness to creation. So the desire to receive there is weak. It's just in the state of thought. Afterwards, Chochmah in its end feels its desire to receive, that it's separating it from God. So this is the vessel of Bina, which is a larger desire to receive than Chochmah. Because Chochmah doesn't even feel its desire to receive. The moment that she feels the desire to receive, so it begins to bother her, and that's already called Bina. And then she deflects the light and is involved in giving. So where is there more desire to receive? Afterwards, Bina starts to have desire for the light of Chochmah, and that's Tiferet. That in general is busy with giving, but also wants to receive. So the desire to receive is already bigger than Bina, because already wants to receive. Bina deflected the light. Zeranpin wants to receive already. Afterwards, Zeranpin at the end doesn't have anything to do with giving, wants only to receive. Unlimited receiving, 100%. So that's the biggest desire to receive. So this is called that in the vessels, the upper ones develop first. Very simple. It's what we learned in number 5. First, the most refined vessel, the Keter. Afterwards, Chochmah. And Bina is even more coarse, Tiferet is even more coarse, until Malchut is the most coarse, the maximum desire to receive. So this is the order. There's no other order. It's not relevant another order in reality. This is the foundational order, progression that's called Yud and Hey and Vav and Hey. The drawing forth of the Creator to the creation, this is how it draws forth. It's not relevant to any other progression. So this is called in short that the upper vessels develop first within the Partzuf. And therefore we call the vessels Kachabtum, Keter, Chochmah, Bina, Tiferet, and Malchut. From above to below. In the beginning the Creator, and at the end the creation. Can't have first the creation and then the Creator. It's a simple progression. Because this is the nature of their development. Of who? Of the vessels. And opposite to them is the lights. The appearance of the light is the opposite. Because with the lights, the lowest lights first enter the Partzuf. Because in the beginning, the Nefesh enters, which is the light of Malchut. And afterwards the Ruach, which is Zeranpin. Until the light of Yehudah enters last. Why? Why with lights is it the opposite? Vessels he explained to us in number 5. We understand. We learn this. But with lights it's the opposite. Why? To understand this, look at drawing number 6. Open drawing number 6. Drawing number 6. What do we see here in number 6? We have here states of vessels and lights. This drawing explains the inverse relationship between vessels and lights. Okay, I think now first let's hear your questions. Make sure that we understand until now. We have your questions from yesterday that we haven't related to yet. So first I'll start with them. The Rebbe's asked, Bina has a desire to give. Why does she need a masach? Also Tiferet has desire to give. So why does it need a masach? A masach we need on the desire to receive. But Bina wants to give. The Rebbe answers that first of all we need to remember that we're not talking about Bina or Tiferet, that we don't have comprehension of these levels, that we're always talking about Malchut. This we need to remember. All the wisdom of Kabbalah is talking about Malchut, the created being. According to the work that the created being does on itself, it's able to attain experience of the upper light. So if I say that there's a masach on Bina, it's not a masach on Bina. Bina is not the created being at all. We're talking about what Malchut has included in her, the characteristic of Bina. Now the general characteristic of Malchut is the maximum desire to receive. So within this maximum desire to receive, in order to receive, we have their characteristics that are included from the Sefirot. But it's all within the desire to receive in order to receive. So therefore it needs a masach. When I say that Bina wants to give, it means we're talking about the desire to receive in order to receive, which is the Malchut, who needs to make a masach on its desire to receive in order to receive of itself, and to be involved in giving. Therefore, every little thing in the Malchut needs a masach. Because the Malchut is the created being, a person. The person is the desire to receive in order to receive. That's it. Now the person wants to do something, the littlest thing, needs to make a masach on their desire to receive. Person wants to be involved in giving, to do something kind. The desire to receive goes against this. So a person needs to make a masach on their desire to receive. This is one way of explaining. Another way of explaining is what we explained today. That Bina has a larger desire to receive than Chochmah. Why? Because Chochmah doesn't even feel that it's receiving. It's born with the light. But Bina is already feeling her desire to receive. The feeling of this desire to receive is already considered a higher level of coarseness. And all this is within the Malchut. The Rebbe's asked, where does the divine light become revealed? Where does the divine light become revealed? This, God willing, we'll learn in drawing number 6. But when we're speaking in a general way, the divine light becomes revealed in a person's consciousness. And a person's consciousness comes to expression in a person's feelings and in understandings. The Rebbe's asked how the embarrassment brings the tzimtzum. What is the embarrassment? That the created being feels separate from the Creator, the opposite. So the created being doesn't want to be the opposite. That's if the created being is feeling the Creator. People that are living in this world not feeling the Creator, so then there's no embarrassment. Person does anything that they want. Therefore, the first thing is to attain emunah, belief. The Rebbe's asked about the verse Hu U'Shmo Echad, that God and God's name are one. That Shmo, God's name, is the same numerical equivalent as Ratzon, desire.
והרצון לקבל שהוא שמו שברא בשביל מטרת הבריאה הם אחד כי הרצון לקבל הגיע למטרת הבריאה.
Does this mean that God's name Yud and He and Vav and He and the Ratzon and the desire are one because the desire has completed its fixing?
מדויק.
And the Rebbe says yes, exactly.
הוא ושמו אחד. הוא זה יוד כו' כ'.
God and God's name are one, the Yud and He and Vav and He, and God's name, Ratzon, desire. Means that the desire to receive has become fixed, completely. So it becomes one with the upper light, it becomes one with God. Now questions from today.
ברוך השם, אני רואה ששאלות מהיום אין כל כך הרבה. אני שמח, סימן שאתם מבינים, ברוך השם.
So I see that there aren't a lot of questions from today, so it's a sign that you understand.
אליס שואלת, האם למילה אוביות יש קשר למילה אב?
The Rebbe's asked if the word for coarseness is connected to the word for av.
בתורה המושג אב זה ענן.
In the Torah, the word Av means cloud. Where there's a verse that here I come to you within the cloud. That a cloud means like hiding the desire to give. The Rebbe says yes, but we can explain here that the cloud is the desire to receive, the coarseness, which is hiding God. It's hiding the sun. The sun of our life is, the light of our life is God. So when the desire to receive is in control, we don't see God, we don't feel God. It's like the cloud that's covering the sun. Now for the sun itself, it doesn't matter if there is some clouds between it and the earth. If there's a little bit of clouds or lots of clouds, it doesn't change the sun at all. It's shining just the same. But everything we're speaking in terms of what's below. The Rebbe is asking, drawing number 9, the level of Malchut is called the shorish, the root. But this isn't the same as drawing number 5. In drawing number 5, the keter is called the coarseness of the source. The Rebbe says, correct. You're right. She's asking in drawing number 5, the keter is called the source. And in drawing number 9, Malchut is called the source. So what's the truth? So the Rebbe says this, we'll learn this later on, probably in the lesson tomorrow. We'll see it tomorrow. But we'll begin today. Look at drawing number 6 to understand the answer to this question. First of all, let's contemplate the states. We have here 5 states. One state where a person is saying the prayer of Shema. The second state is the rest of the prayers. The third state is a person learning Torah. The fourth state is when a person's with their family. And the fifth state is when a person's in the street. Where do we have now the biggest desires to receive? So we would say in the street. When a person's walking in the street, going shopping or to the bank, taking care of all of their matters. We have the worst states here of all the aspects. It means that these situations are going in a progressive way from light to heavy. Saying to Shema has the least interferences. This is a situation where a person is taking upon themselves connection to God. So the person is holding their thought in connection to God. This is the most refined vessel. The most refined vessel is called keter. The rest of the prayers, it's already harder for a person to keep their mind in connection to God. So it's harder, it means that the desire to receive is more ruling. It's harder to make a masach. So this is already a more coarse vessel. Learning Torah, it's even harder to keep the mind. To keep the mind and heart in connection to God. It's a more coarse vessel called Bina. When a person's with their family, so already there's a lot of interferences in the house. Then more than there are in the synagogue. Taking care with the family and the kids, and so on. So it's already a more coarse vessel, which is called Zir Anpin or Tiferet. When a person's in the street, so then there's the most interferences. And this is the hardest place to make a masach on our desire to receive and to be in connection to God. So these are the states and the vessels. Now, in the first state.
מצב א' זה כשהאדם יכול להיות בדבקות רק בקריאת שמע.
The first state is when a person is only able to be in connection to God during Kriyat Shema.
רק ברגע הזה שהוא אומר שמע ישראל השם אלוקינו השם אחד.
Only in this moment when saying the verse Shema Yisrael Hashem Elokeinu Hashem Echad
המחשבה שלו והלב שלו מחוברים עם
is the person's thoughts and hearts connected to God.
אבל בשאר התפילה כבר לא.
But in the rest of the prayers, not able to do that.
אין לו כוח להיות מחובר עם הבורא.
Doesn't have the ability to be connected to God
תפילה.
during the rest of the
יש
prayers.
עליו עומס יותר מדי גדול.
It's too hard.
הוא צריך ללכת לקניות, הוא צריך ללכת לעבודה, 1,001 דברים לסדר. הוא לא
The
יכול.
person has to go shopping and has to go to work, has 1,001 things.
שאר התפילה להיות בדבקות.
So can't during the rest of the prayer keep their mind on connection to God.
ובטח לא כשהוא לומד תורה.
And of course not when they're learning Torah.
ובטח לא עם המשפחה.
And of course not when they're with the family. And of course not in the street.
אז זאת אומרת, רק על כלי אחד הוא יכול להתגבר.
This is say that only on one vessel the person's able to overcome,
שהוא הכלי הזך ביותר.
which is the most refined vessel,
שנקרא קריאת שמע.
which is called the prayer of Shema.
ובשפה שלנו זה נקרא כתר.
In our language it's called Keter.
שכתר הוא הכלי הכי זך.
The Keter is the most refined vessel.
אז מגיע לו אור אחד.
So it arrives to the person one light.
איזה אור?
Which light?
האור הקטן ביותר.
The smallest light,
שהוא אור הנפש.
which is the light of Nefesh.
זה למעשה אור המלכות.
This is the light of Malchut.
נכתבו בתוך המשבצת הזאת.
You could write in the
שכתוב נפש.
square here where it says
נכתבו
Nefesh.
אור המלכות.
You can write the light of Malchut.
מדוע?
Why?
כי הכלל הוא לפום צרה אגרא.
Because the general principle is that according to the effort is the reward.
כמה שיש יותר צער,
Where there's more effort, more suffering,
שכר.
there's more reward.
כמה שהאדם עובד יותר קשה,
The more that a person's working harder,
יקבל שכר יותר גדול.
receives a bigger reward.
כאן במצב האלף,
Here in this first situation,
אז העבודה יחסית היא העבודה הקלה
the work is
ביותר.
relatively the easiest work.
הגיע לו רק אור הכי קטן.
So it comes just the smallest light, the light of Nefesh.
וזה מאיר לו בקריאת שמע.
And this shines during the Shema.
מצב ב',
The second state,
מצב הב' הוא יכול להתגבר גם בשאר התפילה.
the second state the person's also able to overcome during the rest of the prayers.
לא רק בקריאת שמע,
Not just during the Shema,
אלא גם בשאר התפילה.
but also during the rest of the prayers.
ששם הקושי יותר גדול,
That there it's
הרצון
harder,
יותר גדול.
the desire to receive is more.
אז נמשך לו אור יותר גדול.
So it draws the person a bigger light.
כבר להתגבר על כלי יותר גדול שזה כלי של החוכמה,
Because the person's able to overcome a bigger vessel, the vessel of Chokhmah,
שהוא כלי יותר עבה מהכתר,
which is more coarse than
נמשך לו
Keter.
אור יותר גדול,
So it draws forth a bigger light,
נקרא אור הרוח.
which is called the light of Ruach.
אור הרוח הוא האור של התפארת.
The light of Ruach is the light of Tiferet.
אבל
But
אור הרוח לא מאיר לו בשאר התפילה.
the light of Ruach doesn't shine to the person during the rest of the prayers,
אלא אור הרוח מאיר לו בקריאת שמע.
but the light of Ruach shines during the Shema.
ואור הנפש שמקודם היה מאיר לו בקריאת שמע,
And the light of Nefesh that was shining during the recital of the Shema
מאיר לו עכשיו בשאר התפילה.
now shines during the rest of the prayers.
מה הסיבה?
What's the reason?
זה צריך להבין.
This we need to understand.
הרי אנחנו אומרים לפום צער האגרא.
Because we said that according to the effort is the reward.
לפי גודל הצער, כך מה שראינו בסרטוטים הקודמים. גודל המסך הוא פונקציונלי לגודל האוביות.
Like we learned that according to the level of the Masach is the level of the returning light.
גודל האור המתגלה פונקציונלי לגודל האור חוזר.
And the level of the light that comes revealed is a function of the level of the returning light.
אז אם אנחנו אומרים שבשאר התפילה רצון לקבל יותר גדול,
So if we say that during the rest of the prayers there's a bigger desire to receive,
ויותר קשה להתגבר על זה,
and it's harder to overcome it,
אז נמשך אור הרוח. זה
so it
בסדר
draws the light of Ruach. That's okay.
גמור.
a bigger light. But why does the light of Ruach shine during the Shema? And the light of Nefesh during the rest of the prayers? The answer is that we have here another spiritual law. We have here a few spiritual laws. The laws that we learned today, to summarize. The first law is that in vessels, the upper ones develop first. Second law, in lights, the lower ones are revealed first. And the third law, that according to the effort is the reward. The fourth law I'll say now, we haven't yet learned it. There needs to be an equation of form, an equation of characteristics between the light and the vessel. It's also a natural law. That the upper light, the divine light, is always looking for the vessel that has the most similarity to it. What does it mean practically? That the divine light is always looking for the most refined vessel. So therefore comes out that the light of Ruach, which vessel is drawing it forth? The Chochmah. The overcoming during the rest of the prayers. That's drawing the light of Ruach. This is according to the third general principle. That according to the effort is the reward. So it's drawing forth the light of Ruach. But according to the fourth general principle, that there needs to be a similarity between the vessel and the light. The light of Ruach, which is a divine light, that's bigger than the light of Nefesh, it needs the most refined vessel. Therefore, the light of Ruach shines during the Shema, and the light of Nefesh, which is a smaller light, goes down to the rest of prayer. Finish here for today. God willing, we'll continue tomorrow. Have the drawings ready. We'll go over drawing 6 to go over what's going on here. With the appearance of the lights in the vessels. The Rebbe says goodbye to everybody. Thank you very much. God help to understand these things, to internalize them and put them into practice in our daily life. Come close to God